I'm Shirley Guidry. I was born and raised in Wayne, Louisiana. I was raised on a farm, and matter of fact, at the age of 6 years old, on the day of my birthday in 1931, August the 10th, I started picking cotton. And later on, at 12 years old, I was in a wagon on the rice field, bringing the rice to the old thresher. And at 12 years old, I was on a wagon, so I know what work is. My dad's name was Gaston Guidry, and my mom's name was Eula Chasson. Well, my Guidry, grandparents Guidrys were former, and my mama's dad, he was loved animals, and what he did, he sold fish. He'd go to the bucket, pick up fish, and I was overseas when I got news from home that he dropped dead on one of the home selling fish. And we were close. It broke my heart.
Yeah.
You know. It was really, that's all we knew. So we enjoyed it, you know. My brother and I, that's 2 years younger than me, we picked cotton together, played ball together, and did a little fighting together. And we enjoyed the farm, and matter of fact, I think it helped me to be a better man, you know. I couldn't speak a word English when I went to school. At 6 years old, the teacher had to teach us how to speak English. And thank God, her name was Miss Kate. The whole teacher that he was crazy, so he took the time to teach us how to speak English. And I'll never forget Jason, and a good memory I have, my beautiful mama. She was a wonderful, wonderful mother. And when we come home, get off of the bus in the country, we could see the smoke coming out of the chimney. She always had something good to cook for us, waiting for the kids. And when we run to the house, she had probably cake or something sweet, you know.
Yeah.
Every day. Yeah. Wonderful mother. I was raised in rain. Matter of fact, it was a mild east of rain on the Blue Farm. I was raised, my dad was a farmer, mostly cotton, and we stayed there till 1940, and the flood destroyed the whole crop, the cotton crop. 1941, when the Pearl Harbor, the Japanese attack, I was working at the NYE camp in rain, and we were building it. And lo and behold, I wound up at the welding shop at the trade school, and I took welding, and within a couple of months I finished my course and went to work at the Consolidated Shipyard in Orange, Texas. Yeah, and as a welder, as an apprentice welder. I was making 75 cents an hour, so about a couple of months later I went to take a Navy test, and I passed it, and the wage increased up to $1.25 an hour. That was big money in those days. So, but when I became 18 and a half, I decided I no more deferment. I'm going into the service. So I wound up going to World War II. wound up in Camp Shelby, Mississippi, near Harrisburg, Mississippi. And like I said before, the hellhole of the world. It was muggy, and I could have kicked myself. I don't know, what am I doing here? But the good Lord wanted me to go through all that. I know now, you know. So we landed in France, and in England, I'm sorry, we landed in England, Bristol, England, then crossed the English Channel on Christmas Day, 1944.
Wow.
And wound up in France, and then eventually went to the wall, to Germany, and we built the last bridge of the wall on the Elbe River. Matter of fact, I come back. We built a steel bridge, a baby bridge, across the Rhine River, because the main bridge at this time that the Germans destroyed, but it didn't collapse completely. So we hurried up and built a mini bridge so our tanks could cross over. And the day we finished that bridge collapsed over there.
Cool.
So they were able, our tanks were able to cross over into Germany,
Yeah.
into East Germany. And the day we finished, the last bridge we built was the Elbe River pontoon bridge. Matter of fact, what happened, that's one of the times I could have been killed. The Germans found out about the bridge we were building, and the artillery fired. And one of the shell hit a pontoon about 50 or 60 feet from me, and they I don't know how many legs and arm in the air. I don't know how many got killed. And then we got a piece of shrapnel. That was the third time that happened. But anyway, when the day we finished the bridge, the war ended. And the Russians were waiting to cross over to the bridge. That's why we built the bridge, the Russians to cross over. And we told the Russians, bye! We didn't go take time to shake hands. We took off. When I was in France, I had a hard time understanding the French people. See, I had to, wait a minute, whoa, slow down. And finally I could make out, I was finally able to make out what they were saying, but it was entirely different than Cajun, Yeah. Well, it would be like, comment ça va? Yeah. Where they would say, comment ça va vous? Instead of the strict opposite, It's like in Cajun says, comment ça va, Charles? In French, says, comment vous sent, monsieur? We landed in Le Havre, France. That's where we landed at. And it was hard, it was frozen, the ground was so hard and frozen, and we had to use compressors to dig holes to be able to pitch our tents, the pegs, and we slept two in one tent to try to keep warm, two blankets, and Le Havre was a big city, but at that time it had been rubble, not one building standing. Nothing but rubble. So there's no building for us to stay in. So and I wound up went to Germany, and I can't remember, 1940, in the early part of 1945, and that was after Christmas. And we wound up, went all the way through the wall, and we built the steel bridge over the Rhine River, because the German bridge in Rabagan, was the Germans destroyed it, but it hadn't collapsed completely. So we still, America was still able to use a little bit, but we built a Bailey Bridge not about a mile away from it. And the day we finished that Bailey Bridge, that Rabagan Bridge collapsed. And we were able to use our bridge.
Yeah.
They had some coffee for that, and they put some cognac instead of whiskey and cognac. They push café. They said, we had you push café? Where? And tasted like hell. We drank it, They didn't like the cognac in my coffee. Push café, they call it. So, but they were beautiful people, They were so happy to see the Americans, after Hitler occupied, for I don't know how long, and he mistreated them. So they were happy to see the Americans. Yeah, especially when we got in France, those guys couldn't, I was the only one that could speak Cajun, French. So naturally, they called me over when they meet somebody on the street or something. They were talking, they didn't know what they were saying. So, hey, Guidry, come here. Called me over, so I go in and we started talking, and then I interpreted to them what they were saying, So it came in handy, it really did, my Cajun ancestry really came in handy. They called me Guidry. It all started in basic training. The first sergeant, I'll never forget, the first time we got in a formation, and you took roll, And we got to Mr. Guidry, and I'm in the entrance says, Guidry, said, God told me, I think he said you. I said, my name is not Guidry, Guidry. Oh, I thought you talking about somebody else. From then on, he called me Guidry. Because I talked to him, see? That's when they all excited. Oh, American talking French. So we thought, and then of course, the friends of mine, they called me over. And talking to them, they knew what they were saying, so I had to come and interpret, you know. They were so happy to see, to be able to talk to somebody in French, you know. Yeah. I can't remember the name of the town, but they were so happy to see the Americans, you know, that they went out of that way to give us some, what little bit they had left to eat. And of course, most of all, we had the cooking oil and they had the potatoes, the mashed potatoes, the salad. So we had a lot of French fries, you know. Oh yeah, them and both. So, but they were so happy to see us. And then the other thing is, there was after the war ended, I was driving a truck to go get supplies, and I always carried extra gas in the back of the pickup, the truck, you know, the 2.5-ton pickup truck, and so as they come back, and the poor thing didn't have no gas, so I gave people some gas, but they put it in the whole vehicle.
Yeah.
Oh, they were so happy. They wanted to pay me. No. Oh, yeah. And cigarettes, bang. I just caught the cigarettes, and I gave them cigarettes. They had no cigarettes.
Can you talk to me how that old Frenchman talked to you? What did he say in French?
Well, he said, comment ça va, miss? Comment ça va? It's different than the Cajun, you know. Comment ça va? C'est bon. And big to do, you know. They were so happy to hear somebody, an American talk French, you know. It was broken French, but I got along with it. And then, of course, like I said, they called me over, Guidry. Because they're trying to interpret what they were saying. And but those French were really beautiful people. When I came back from the war, she came back, you know, and she touched my foot, you know, to make sure it was true I was back. And I went to scream. But well, the poor thing, one day, and the next year, 1947, I was going to Lafayette looking for a job with a friend of mine. I didn't have no vehicle. So he picked me up, and then my mama was in bed. She was taking a nap, you know, like usual. Said, bye, Mom. Bye, Shirley. Come back home. I went to the neighbor's room to Shirley. Your mom's in the hospital. In the hospital? So I took off running about a mile away, and I got to the hospital. When I got there, she hugged me, kissed me, she said, and so I said, what's going on? She said, I'm sick. When I started crying, 10, 15 minutes later, she was gone. What happened, I quit in the 8th grade. They had my dad on the phone. So when I came back from World War II, I was looking for a job, and everywhere I went to look for a job, first thing they asked me how much education you had. I said, well, I quit in the 8th grade. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to go back to school and get my diploma. So I went to the principal in Wayne, Irene Pedro. And I said, Miss Pedro, I decided to come back and to get my diploma. Oh, yeah. She said, I'll put you with the juniors and seniors. Juniors and seniors, I quit in the 8th grade. You go learn. And lo and behold, because of my maturity, I've been straight A's. I was in straight A's, and the best thing about it is my saint name is Mary. So I didn't find out till when I came back, and to go back to school, I had to go get my birth certificate. I displaced it. So I went to Rand to Father Lurchin that baptized me in 1945. Matter of fact, he baptized my dad in 1907. So, so I says, Father, come to, I'm Shirley Guidry. And he looked at me and says, you never changed your name? Changed my name? I said, well, I said, I'll tell you how you got your name. So I said, your mom and dad brought you in a baby in a white dress in those days, boy or girl. I didn't know if you were a boy or girl. So I asked your mom, I said, what you want to name him? You want to name him Charlie, but she couldn't pronounce it. She said, Charlie. She said Shirley. So I gave him my own saint name, Mary. So that's why I got my saint name. I said, Father, I wouldn't change my name for nothing in the world. Of course, in 1948, I met my wife in Mermentau, Louisiana. And we went out for a couple of years, and we got married in 1950 on February the 12th. And I was working in New Orleans, going to trade school at night when we got married. And so when I finished my school, I went to Market City and went to work as a watchmaker there at Miss Bess's jeweler in Market City. Stayed there for about 2-3 months, and I wound up in Lake Charles. In 1954, we came to Lake Arthur, opened up a jewelry store on Main Street in Lake Arthur, and a watchmaker's shop, you know, and wound up having built my own store in Lake Arthur, and they're still there to this day. I had no idea what I was going to be doing when I came, you know, during life. But like I said, in 1976, I was called, you know, to become a community minister. I had 25 people, you know. In later on, in 1984, I met my CEO, and that Bruce Manuel, the man I showed you, behind me, had a dream about the walk in Lady Guadalupe. No idea what that walk was about. We didn't find out till after it was in Mexico what the walk was about. There's a lady from San Antonio, Texas, on that Saturday night before we crossed over into Mexico, that had a dream. This is 250 miles away. San Antonio, San Juan. She had a dream. The Bethel Mother told her to go to a mass at 10 o'clock in San Juan to deliver a message to a group of men from Louisiana walking on Lady Guadalupe. She did it with her son, and the son had to drive. You can imagine, wee hours in the morning, she said, son, wake up, we have to go to mass in San Juan. She said, Mama, what's the matter with you? You crazy? I said, go to bed. Finally, we had to go. So they finally got up, and during that 10 o'clock mass, she sat in the middle with the sun, and the priest found out about us. And we sat kind of in the back. So when the man from Louisiana walked into our lady Guadalupe feast stand, so we stood up, and the old lady went back. Son, I saw a man in my dream. She saw the 6 letters in her dream. That's how real, as you know, we come to find out later on, because of special graces from the Blessed Mother, that walk was to break the communist barrier, the communist government. We carried that cross and never would stop on time. We couldn't even wear nothing outside. The priest couldn't wear a white collar outside the church.
Wow. And
we carried that cross. I said, y'all can pick us up, you can shoot it, we're going to carry that cross. Never stop on time. Louisiana, Texas, at least a dozen times. They called, hey, you better, the sheriff's department, you better call, you better go check the Ku Klux Klan group of carrying the cross on the highway. The deputy would come down, and Bruce Manuel had a letter from Pope John Paul. Brother had permission to do that. He presented the letter. Every one of them. Can I carry that cross in a bit? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, man.
Unbelievable. The miracle, Jason, that took place on that walk, I could stand here for hours, man. I made a story about my wife. in 1948. Yeah, 1948. My daddy was working for a man, Lee Meyer in Lane, at a furniture store. And one day he came home, I was looking for a job. I was after the war. And so he said, Shirley, he said, Lee has a job for you. So I said, oh my God, thank you. So I went to see Lee Meyer. He said, we're opening up a theater in Murmansaw, Louisiana. He said, we'd like for you to manage it. So, manager, I don't know nothing about it. I want you to run the projectors and all that. He said, you go there, we're going to have somebody teach you. So I went to the George Theater in Rain, and Leo Morgan, big old beautiful tall guy. He taught me how to run the projectors and everything. So when they opened the theater in Murmansaw, they had hired 3 girls. One of them was a ticket seller, when I pick up the tickets, and a popcorn girl. Well, the ticket seller happened to be my wife. We fell in love. And she was in high school then, and so what happened, I bought half of the theater. I had a home in Rain that I built after the war to rent. And so I sold it to buy half, $4,000 to buy half of the theater. So I decided that the business started going down, so I decided to sell my share back to Lee Meyer for $4,000. So he said, well, I don't have the cash. But he said he had a wholesale, a furniture wholesale. But he said, whenever you get married, I will give you a $4,000 credit for furniture. So, wholesale. So I said, well, that sounds good. So we got married, we did. We got all our furniture in New Orleans, and $4,000 worth of furniture. And, but anyway, coming back, we decided to get married in 1950. February the 12th in 1950, that's the year we got married. And I was living in New Orleans, of course, then. And it happened to be during Mardi Gras time. And my wife had never seen a big parade yet. So I took her to Canal Street for that big Mardi Gras parade. And that was a big treat for her. And I'll never forget that. Oh yeah, she enjoyed every minute of it. And so eventually I finished my trade school in New Orleans and wound up in Morgan City fixing watches. And then after 2 or 3 months, I guess, I decided to go to went to the Shaw. And they had a little shop open there in the Shaw, watch shop. So I fixed watches there for about a few months, maybe a year or so. And in 1954, we decided to come to, what happened, there's a watch material salesman from New Orleans that came by to my shop in Mont Bluff. And he told me, he says, you know, Lake Arthur's a nice town, there's no jewelry there, jewelry store there. Can't understand. So, and my wife being from Murmansaw, only a few miles from Lake Arthur, I said, that'd be a good thing for me. So that Sunday we came to look at Lake Arthur, and we decided, so the next day I came back and went to talk to the manager of the bank, and he found me a little place there on Main Street to open my watch shop. And I had a picture, but I can't find it. And that's how I did being to Murmansaw, my wife would go visit her mama. She's only 15 miles away, see? Mm-hmm. So everything turned out beautiful, and she'd go visit her mama very often. And as a matter of fact, the last 10 years of her mama's life, we took care of her right here in this house. And she sat right here in this chair for 10 years. She has to use a walker, but that was a chair right there. And I cooked, so whatever, I knew what she liked to eat, so I was a cook, I did all the cooking. So I always took care of her, she treated her real nice. And then I forget, my wife told me after she died, she said, Shirley, thank you for taking care of Mama.
Yeah.
For 10 years. She went to school at McNeese, and She went there and wound up with a master's degree in teaching. And all she has to 10 more hours for a doctor's degree. But she decided, well, no, that, so she retired after 20 years.
Okay.
And the children, the people that she taught still talk about her. So she was a tough teacher, but we learned. she was a tough cookie, but she learned. That's her. That's my baby in high school right there. Yeah, she's a beautiful girl. So for every year, for my birthday, they bring me to DI to go eat and dance.
There you
They
go.
love, you know, both of my daughters-in-law love to dance. Joe's daughter, wife and Greg's wife, they love to dance. So boy, we had, and my 94th birthday 2 years ago, I gotta tell you what happened. They went and I told one of the boys, I can't remember which one it was, I said, go act to play, I mean, yeah, two-step. Two-step, I love to dance. So Jane, Greg's wife, we got up there and started dancing. After a while, the band leader, I can't believe that 94-year-old man dancing a two-step like that. I was going at him, boy. So after the dance was over, he came to meet us. He talked to me. He said, my mama bought a ring from you in 1970, a diamond ring. Yeah. 1970. Yeah, that's my grandkids, you know. Yeah, my grandkids. And that's my son, Joe, the one they call you. That's Joe right there. See? And on the walk, on the Pentecost walk. That was, I can't remember what year that was. Wait a minute, I think it's 2008. May 2008. Joe. Yeah, you walk with me. Yeah. Yeah. That's my mama. My mother's picture. And that's my wife's mama. My mother-in-law. I have a picture of my great-grandchildren, 4 of them like that. See? That's my granddaughter right there, my oldest son's daughter. And her husband and 4 children, yeah. They live in Baltimore. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I talk to them every now and then. I talk to them. Last Sunday I talked to her. Yeah. I walked that lady Guadalupe in Mexico City. Yeah, this is my favorite spot right here. And you see, look at the beautiful flowers in the garden. It just came out of nowhere. You know? And I enjoyed the lake. Oh yeah, the lake, the birds, I got bird feed. Oh yeah. Oh, we enjoyed on very, very good life.